So Ohm's law is applicable under what scenario, guys? At constant temperature, the amount of potential difference applied across it. So I'm going with the book definition. The amount of potential difference applied across the ends of a conductor is directly proportional to the amount of current flowing through it. Then we wrote V is equal to I into capital R. The capital R is what we call it as resistance. So what is resistance? It is a property, right? Resistance is a property exhibited by a material. What material? By a conductor to oppose the flow of electrons. So question, there are two important questions that we can ask here. Thing is it only opposing or is it, 1 minute. Sir, can you teach me like that? I will let you know. Okay. I'll let you know. First concentrate on this. What were we discussing? Yeah, resistance is a property exhibited by a material to oppose the flow of electrons. Now comes an important question. Is it only going to oppose or completely stop the flow of electrons?
Oppose.
It only oppose. In the sense, what will happen
Will
is
oppose.
you can say like the speed will decrease. If the electrons are moving with a certain speed, it's like a speed breaker. Resistance is like a speed breaker, which will try to decrease the vacuum. Okay, but it will not completely make it the same. Right? So have this in your mind. So R is equal to V divided by I. R is equal to V divided by I. Now, if the potential difference across the two ends of a conductor, if you take it as 1 volt and the current is taken as 1 ampere, then how you will define the resistance as? The resistance is defined as 1 ohm. So 1 R is equal to 1 ohm. Sorry. 1 ohm is equal to 1
volt by 1 ampere.
By 1 ampere. Right? It is volt per ampere is what we call it as ohm, and the symbol that is used is omega. I told you in the previous classes. Right? Now what we are going to see is what exactly is resistance and what are all the factors on which resistance is going to be dependent on. Okay? So write down the heading as factors on which the resistance of a conductor depends. Factors on which the resistance of a conductor depends. Okay. So these are all the factors. Resistance of a conductor is observed to be directly proportional to the length of the conductor. Write it down. Resistance of a conductor is observed to be directly proportional to the length of the conductor. Similarly, the resistance of a conductor is observed to be inversely proportional to the area of cross section of the conductor. Is observed to be inversely proportional to the area of cross section of the conductor. So R is directly proportional to L and R is inversely proportional to A. Then what will be the value of R? Then R is observed to be directly proportional to L divided by A. What is L, guys? It is the length of the conductor. What? A stands for?
Area.
What area?
Area of cross section.
Area of cross section. It is not the lateral surface area or the curved surface area. It is the area of cross section. That is an important point. Okay. Then R is directly proportional to L by A. Then R is observed to be equal to, this symbol is called as rho. Okay. You read it as RHO, rho. Rho into L divided by A. So it is like this, R is equal to rho into L divided by A. Most common mistake that happens is people will write rho in terms of like L. No, R is equal to rho into L divided by A. Is that clear? Where that rho is called as the resistivity of the conductor. It's called as the resistivity of conductor. Did you guys make a note of it? So here, there should not be any confusion, okay? Resistance.
So 1 minute, sir.
Yeah, please make it.
Noting down, sir.
Yeah, please write. Done?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there should not be a confusion, okay? Resistance is different from resistivity. Okay? Now, please make a note. Please make a note. Write a note. Resistivity of a conductor is independent. Please write it down. Resistivity of a conductor is independent of the dimensions of the conductor. Such as length and area of cross section.
Sir, can you please repeat?
Did you write it? Whereas it depends only on the temperature of the material. So below that, write it down. If temperature increases, okay, temperature of a conductor, okay, please write it. If the temperature of a conductor increases, resistivity also increases. Okay. And the next important point is resistivity of a given material is always a constant. Resistivity of a given material is always a constant. Are you able to understand what I'm trying to say? Okay.
Yes.
So here, this is what I want you all to understand. I have resistance one side, I have resistivity another side. Length, area, temperature, nature. Okay. So resistance depends on length or not? Resistance is R. R is proportional to L. Correct? Resistance is proportional to length. What about the area? Resistance is inversely proportional.
Inversely proportional to
Okay.
area.
Resistance is dependent on temperature as well. Okay. And nature, yes, it depends, but mostly it depends on the dimensions. I'll tell you what it means, okay? Whereas resistivity, independent, is dependent, constant. So what is the meaning of this, guys? So the meaning of this is, listen to this very carefully, okay? So last class when I asked you, we'll conduct, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Last class, will every conductor have resistance? You people told me yes. Okay. So mostly conductors are metals. If I take a wire, okay, let's say this wire is made of copper. This wire has some amount of thickness. I hope you guys are able to see that. It has some amount of thickness. And if I take this portion of this copper wire, it is insulated, inside you will have copper wire, outside it is plastic. Okay. I'll tell you that, that's what I'm trying to explain. You have to wait for me to complete it. Okay. So what wire is this?
Copper wire.
Copper wire. So between both the fingers, I have a length, right? I have length. If I change this length from here to here, what do you think will happen to resistivity of this conductor?
It will increase, sir.
So initially the distance was small. If I try to move it further, it increases. Am I right? But
Yes, sir.
what do you think will happen to resistivity?
It will remain the same.
It will remain the same because you're talking about the same copper wire. That is what I meant by resistivity of a material is always constant. It is independent of length. Okay. Now, I have a copper wire of a certain thickness. If I replace this with another copper wire which is slightly thick but of the same length, okay, this is also copper wire, it is slightly thick. What do you think will happen to this resistance? Will it
Resistance will be less, sir, because it's inversely proportional to the area of cross section.
perfect? Because the area of cross section is increased keeping the length constant. I'm stressing on one point. I've increased the area of cross section and still keeping the length to be constant. Then its resistance will decrease. What will happen to resistivity? Unaffected. It will
It
remain
will
the same.
remain the same.
It will remain the same. Okay. Now, resistance of this conductor, if I start heating this material, see, heating means I'll not directly put it on a stove. If suppose I'm doing an experiment with this copper wire in a room where I switched on AC and kept it at 20 degrees Celsius, I will take the same resistor and keep it in some other atmosphere, let's say at 25 degrees Celsius, and I do an experiment. The material's temperature is obviously changing. What do you think will happen to its resistance? The resistance will increase. What do you think will happen to resistivity? What do you think will happen to resistivity?
It will also increase, sir.
That will also increase. So resistance and resistivity are commonly dependent on one important parameter. What is it? Temperature.
Temperature.
That is why when you do the experiment, no, they say you should not you should not switch on the device for a longer time. When you do for a longer time, no, the material will get heated up. See, for example, your mobile phone is there. You keep playing a game. You are putting too much load on it. What is going to happen?
It will heat up, sir.
It will get heated up. Same thing. Okay. Next. What about the nature? So nature means I'm talking about the copper wire. So if I take a copper wire, along with the nature, it also depends on the dimensions like length and area for resistance. Whereas resistivity, whether I take a copper wire of 1 meter, 2 meter, 3 meter, 5 meter, anything, its resistivity is always a constant. Purida.
Yes, sir.
That is an important point because we will use all these concepts while solving the problems. Sanyu, are you clear now? I didn't hear that. Can you message me in the chat box? You're still not clear. What is the problem? Please define what? Resistivity. Okay. Wait, I'll give you a book definition also. See, Let me read these points, okay? Now listen to this. So, if you observe one thing, resistance of a conductor, I'll come to that point. Resistance of a conductor depends on what all parameters? On its length, on its area of cross section, and the nature of its material. What do I mean by nature of the material? Copper is a different material compared to aluminum or some other conductor, nichrome wire, something. Okay. So precise measurements will also show you that the resistance of a uniform metallic wire is directly proportional to its length and inversely proportional to area of cross section. So R is mathematically proportional to L divided by A. Then R is equal to rho into L by A, where that rho is called as the constant of proportionality, and it is the electrical resistivity of the material of the conductor. Okay. Now, let me put a question like this. Have you heard the word called as conductivity?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you? I want to make it simple. I don't want to complicate. Yes, sir. You know what is conductivity. Where have you heard this word? See, you know about electrolytes and electrodes, right? Do you guys know about electrolytes and electrodes? You know what is an electrolyte? Yes or no? If you want me to define it in brief, the reciprocal of conductivity is what we call it as resistivity. That's it. That's what I was trying to explain. Similarly, the reciprocal of conductance is what is called as resistance. Are you able to understand? Yes or no? Still you have a doubt. Okay. So what I'm trying to say, see, if you take an electrolyte, no, the electrolyte has an important property called as conductivity, means how easily the ions can move within an electrolyte. Okay, if you are able to calculate the conductivity and take the reciprocal of it, that's what we call it as resistivity. If you are able to calculate the conductance and take the reciprocal of it, that's what we call it as resistance. Okay, so they both are slightly different. Why they are different, you can understand it from the units as well. So what is the unit of resistance? So unit of resistance is ohm, right? Now R is equal to rho into L divided by A. So rho will be equal to R into A divided by L. Accepted? Rho is equal to R into A divided by L. Correct? So R is
Yes, sir.
measured in ohm, area is measured in meter square, and length is measured in meter. Meter and meter will get cancelled. So if I take the ohm meter as a measuring parameter, then that is what we call it as resistivity. Okay, here there is an important point that is given. It is the characteristic property of the material, means it only depends on what material you are using. It does not depend on any of its dimensions. Okay. So the metals and alloys have very low resistivity in the range of 10 power 8 to 10 power minus 6 ohm meter. 10 power 8 to 10 power minus 6 ohm meter. So they are good conductors of electricity. So resistivity is also one of the parameters which is going to say whether the conductor is a good one or a bad one. So if you have materials which have low resistivity, they are good conductors. So resistivity is measured in terms of ohm meter, 10 power minus 8 to 10 power minus 6 ohm meter. So they are good conductors of electricity. If you talk about insulators, what are the insulators you can talk about? You can talk about rubber, glass. These have the resistivity of the order of 10 power 12 to 10 power 17 ohm meter. Okay. So both resistance and resistivity of a material vary with temperature. They told vary, they didn't say how it will vary. It will increase. Okay. Both resistance and resistivity of which material? Of a conductor. Of a conductor will increase with temperature. Okay, so there is a table that is given which has a ready-made calculation of resistivity of all the materials. The experiment to calculate the resistivity, you have it in your 12th standard. Okay, so you will calculate it using Ohm's law only. After you calculate, if you prepare a table, no, then electrical resistivity of some substances are given at 20 degrees Celsius. Why do you think the temperature is mentioned? The experiment from where they calculated was done at a temperature of 20 degrees Celsius. So if you take the conductors, you have silver, copper, aluminum, tungsten, nickel, iron, chromium, mercury and manganese. Okay, all these materials resistivity is given here. You need not memorize it. You need not memorize these values. You can use these values for solving numerical problems. If not, they will give it to you. You need not worry about it. But this table is only for you to understand. Okay. Similarly, when you talk about alloys, you have constantan, which is an alloy, which is a mixture of copper and nickel. You have manganese, which is a mixture of copper, manganese and nickel. You have nichrome wire, which is a mixture of nickel, chromium, manganese and iron. These are all the alloys, which are also good conductors of electricity. So depending on the requirement, these alloys are used in real-time applications. Similarly, what are all the insulators? You have glass, hard rubber, ebonite, diamond and paper. Okay, so they all have the resistivity of the range of 10 power 10 to 10 power 12. They have given it here, no, 10 power 12 to 10 power 17. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
So that's a
Yes,
very
sir.
simple. That's a very,
Yes,
very,
sir.
very. Okay. Now, based on all these concepts that we have studied till now, how are we going to solve problems? That is more important. Okay, before that, let me read out one more point. So table 12.2 reveals the resistivity of alloys is generally higher than that of its constituent metals. Alloys do not oxidize, burn readily at higher temperature. For this reason, what happens is they are commonly used in electrical heating devices. So you take an iron box, you take a toaster, okay? All these things work on what principle? The heating effects of current, right? So if you produce some heating effect, you need to choose a material which does not burn off. Burn off in the sense which does not get oxidized readily at high temperatures, right? So that is the reason why alloys are used for what purposes? In electrical heating devices such as electric iron, toasters and all those things. Okay. Similarly, tungsten is almost used exclusively for filaments of electric bulbs. If you see an electric bulb, there will be a small filament inside. That filament is made up of a material called as tungsten. Whereas if you talk about other conductors, copper and aluminum, they are generally used for electrical transmission lines, or you would have seen the wires at your home and all those things. They use copper or aluminum. Mostly they use copper. Okay, even your AC, there was the coil which is used. They say copper coil and aluminum coil, all those things. Okay. So keeping all these points in mind, let's see how to solve problems. Shall I proceed? With the hope that everyone is clear with the concept, I'm proceeding.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So concentrate. The only formula you're supposed to know is R is equal to rho into L divided by A. Okay. So how much current? So till now, what are all the formulae we saw? V is equal to IR, V is equal to W by Q, and I is equal to Q by T. These are the four formulae that we have. Only four. Now, how much current will an electric bulb draw from a 220 volt source? How much current would an electric bulb draw from a 220 volt source? So potential of AB is equal to 220 volt. If the resistance of the bulb filament is 1200 ohm. So potential is given, resistance is given. How will you find current? V is equal to IR, assuming the experiment is happening at the same temperature. So I is equal to V divided by R. That is 220 divided by R is 1200. Cancel it. So 11 divided by 60. These many amperes is the amount of current that is flowing through that so-called electric bulb. Right. So this is problem number A. What about problem number B? How much current will an electric heater coil draw from a 220 volt source if the resistance of the heater coil is 100 ohm? So VAB is equal to 220 volt. Resistance of the heater coil is 100 ohm. I is equal to 220 divided by 100. This and this will get cancelled. 2.2. 2.2 ampere. Here one important point to be noted is 2.2 ampere is actually a high current. You know that 0.95 ampere of shock is enough for us to die. Okay. 1 ampere is enough for 1 ampere of current is enough to kill us. So I is equal to, if you connect the bulb across the same source and a heater across the same source, what is happening? The bulb is drawing less amount of current and the heater is drawing more amount of current. From this, logically what we can do is, if I put a question like this, if you have to design an electrical equipment which has to draw more amount of current from the same 220 volt, what are you supposed to do? Decrease its what? Decrease its resistance. If you see the resistance of the bulb filament, it is 1200, whereas the resistance of the electric heater is only 100 ohm. Because current and resistance are inversely proportional to each other. I hope it is clear, guys. So 12.4. Okay, 12.4. So the potential difference between the terminals of an electric heater is 60 volt. Potentials of a heater is 60 volt. When it draws a current of 4 ampere from the source, I is equal to how much? 4 ampere. What is the current? What current will the heater draw if the potential difference is increased to 120 volt? Good one. So potential difference between the terminals of electric heater. So there are two cases here. Case 1, potential across the heater is 60 volt. Current it draws is 4 ampere. Okay. Now in case 2, what is happening? Potential across AB has got increased to 120 volt. Now they are asking what will be the current. Can I say the current will also get doubled? So potential difference is getting doubled. Will current also get doubled? The answer is yes. Guys, by the way, are you there or not? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, listen. So VAB is equal to I into R. Here also VAB is equal to I into R. I'll call this as VAB dash. I'll call this as I dash. Okay. Why did I not write it as R dash?
Sir, because resistance is same here.
Because it's the same material, it's the same heater that is being used. Okay, so VAB dash divided by VAB is equal to I dash divided by I. Can I write it like this? So I dash is what you need to find. So which implies VAB dash is how much? 120 divided by VAB is 60 is equal to I dash is what we need to find divided by I is 4 ampere. This will go 2 times, so I dash should be equal to 8 ampere. In your textbook, they would have done it in a different way. They would have found the resistance from the first, then they would have substituted in the second. That is also right. But this is more smarter way, because we don't need the value of resistance. Did they ask? No. Right? I hope it is clear, guys.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So let's do this one. Example 12.5. So resistance of a metal wire, there is a resistance, or there is a metal wire is 26 ohm at 20 degrees Celsius and its length is given as 1 meter. If the diameter of the wire is 0.3 millimeter, 0.3 millimeter is 0.3 into 10 power minus 3 meter. Milli is 10 power minus 3. What will be the resistivity of the material at that temperature? Resistivity is equal to how much? At same 20 degrees Celsius. Don't worry, in your syllabus, you don't have anything like changing, finding the value of resistivity at different temperature. You don't have. Using table 12.2, predict the material of the wire. So what material it is? So what is the only formula that we know? R is equal to rho into L divided by A. R is 26 is equal to rho is what we need to find. L is how much? 1 divided by area is how much, guys? It is the area of cross section. It is area of cross section. Huh? How will you find the area of cross section? Guys, are you able to hear?
Yes, sir.
Then what is the area of cross section?
Sir, pi r square.
Pi r square, that's it. Pi r square. So 26 is equal to rho into 1 divided by pi into r is how much? R is d divided by 2 the whole square. Because diameter is given, radius is not given. So rho is equal to 26 into pi into d square divided by 4. So 26 into pi into d is how much now? 0.3 into 10 power minus 3 the whole square the whole divided by 4. This is the answer. Okay. So this is the resistivity. So once you find the resistivity, the value comes out as 1.84 into 10 power minus 6 ohm meter. What did they say? They asked us
Sir,
to
can
go
you
and
explain the question once more, sir?
what is that, right? They have given the
Sir.
resistance.
Sir, I got confused.
See, they told resistance is 26 ohm, length is 1 meter, diameter is 0.3 millimeter, that is 0.3 into 10 power minus 3. They're asking what is the resistivity of this wire.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So the resistivity came out as 1.84 into 10 power minus 6 ohm meter. Now we will go and look at the table. 1.86 into 10 power 1.86. So this is the material. So the material is manganese. Got it?
Yes, sir.
The next one is a very important one. Okay. Now see. So there is a wire of given material. They didn't say what the material is. So when they say given material, no, one thing that should run in your mind is resistivity is constant. Because resistivity is the characteristic of a material, right? So wire of given material having length L and area of cross section A has a resistance of 4 ohm. So resistance is how much? 4 ohm. Length is L. Area is A. What could be the resistance of another wire? So I have one wire whose length is L and area of cross section is A. Okay. I have another wire of the same material whose length is how much? L by 2 and the area of cross section is 2A. Then how much is the resistance they are asking? Very simple. So R dash, this L dash, this A dash. So R is equal to rho into L by A. R dash is equal to rho dash into L dash divided by A dash. There is a mistake in the second equation, correct it?
So rho does
Sir,
not
the
have a
resistance
dash.
Rho dash.
sir,
The rho.
does not
And
have.
it is the same because it's of the same material, right? So R dash divided by R is equal to L dash divided by A dash divided by L by A, which implies R dash by R is equal to what is L dash? L by 2 divided by A divided by, sorry. L by 2 divided by 2A divided by L by A. So L by A will get cancelled, it become 1 by 4. So R dash by 4 is equal to 1 by 4, which implies R dash is equal to 1 ohm. Did you understand why I wrote R dash by 4? Because resistance of the given wire is 4 initially. This is the one I used.
Okay, sir.
So I just need 2 minutes time. The charge in my pencil is over. You guys can try the next one. If there is any doubt from this one, please let me know. Okay. Now look at the next one. Okay. We'll finish the next one. On what factors does the resistance of a conductor depend on? On what factors does the resistance of a conductor depend on? Length, area of cross section, and
Temperature.
Temperature.
yes. Will current flow more easily through a thick wire or a thin wire of the same material when connected to the same source? So they are connected to the same source and they are asking, will current flow more easily through a thick wire or a thin wire? So
Thin wire.
So thickness and thickness has something to do with area of cross section. R is inversely proportional to A, and R is also inversely proportional to current. Correct? So if area of cross section is more, resistance will be less. If resistance is less, current will be more. So what I can conclude is, more is the area of cross section, more will be the amount of current that can flow. It's very simple, guys, okay? If I give you a water tube, okay? I'll give you a thick water tube and a thin water tube. In which one, from which one you can find the rate to be more? In which one will you have more amount of water flowing?
Sir, can you repeat again?
I give you a thick tube and I give you a thin water tube. Okay, you're allowing the water to flow through both. Which one will allow more amount of water to flow through it?
Sir, the thick one, sir.
Thick
Sir,
one,
the
sir.
thick one, sir.
Same logic. So here the logic is resistance is inversely proportional to area of cross section. And resistance is also inversely proportional to current. So more is the area of cross section, lesser is the resistance, and more will be the value of current. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's the logic. Okay. Shall I move on to the next one?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Why is the response so low? Not able to understand, huh? Is it tough? Now see. Third one. Let the resistance of an electrical component remain constant. It's not remains constant. Remain constant. While the potential difference across the two ends of the component decreases to half of its former value. Okay. You have an electrical component. Okay. Whose R value is constant. It is connected across a battery. Initially, let's say of potential difference V. Now what is happening? Keeping the resistance constant, the voltage is dropped by, the voltage decreases to half of its former value. It becomes V by 2, keeping the resistance constant. Now they are asking what change will occur in the current. So here if the current is I, what would have happened to the current here? Will it become I by 2 or 2I?
I by 2.
Sir, I by 2.
Because V is equal to IR and V is directly proportional to I. So if voltage decreases, current will also decrease. So V is equal to, then the current will also fall by half. So current will become I by 2. Okay. What about the fourth one? What are the coils of electric toasters and electric irons made of? Why are the coils of electric toasters and electric irons made up of alloy rather than a pure metal? Because alloys do not get oxidized readily even at high temperatures. Right? I read it in the paragraph, right? I hope you guys remember it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Last question. So using the data in table 12.2 and to answer the following, which among iron and mercury is a better conductor? Which among iron and mercury is a better conductor? Iron's
Sir, iron, sir.
resistivity is 10 into 10 power minus 8.
Iron,
Mercury
sir.
is iron. Which metal is the best conductor?
Silver.
Silver, sir.
Silver, sir.
Best conductor should have the least resistivity. No, best conductor should have least resistivity, no?
Yes, sir. Silver
Yes,
has
sir.
least resistivity, sir.
1.60 is the least. Yeah, that's the answer. Okay. So that is all about resistance and resistivity, guys. Okay. So next what we are supposed to do is we need to understand what will happen if these resistors are connected in series and what will happen if the resistors are connected in parallel. That's what we call it as resistors of the system, resistance of the system of resistors. Okay. So this I will start in the next class. So the last two topics that are left out in this chapter are resistors in series and parallel, then heating effect of electric current. With that, we are done with this chapter. Okay, maximum 2 more classes. Is that clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
I hope it is clear from
Yes,
today's
sir.
class. No doubt from
Yes,
today's
sir.
class. Okay. Okay,
Yes,
then. So that's it from my side. We can log off. See you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.